All right. Got a big update. Not a good one.
No.
Do you want to take it away?
I have a stress reaction in my tibia, which is pretty bad news.
So what does that mean for the rest of the year for you and races?
Yeah, so that means I won't be doing an Ironman. I was planning first to do Placid, and then we kind of thought, okay, no, we need more time, do Kalmar, but now that's been taken off the cards, and that means not qualifying for Kona. Yeah, that was pretty hard to, like, obviously I've had a bit of time now to process it and everything. Like at first it was kind of a blow and a bit like disbelief really. So yeah, now I think the plan is to try and do an Ironman to qualify for Kona for next year at the end of the year, whether that's November, like Ironman Florida, or December, Western Australia.
So what happened with injury? Talk to me about like when you started noticing it, what happened in Hamburg?
So I had kind of two issues going on. I had my foot originally, it's like under my plantar plate, which I've had previously, had a bit last year that got nipped in the bud really quick after a cortisone injection, and like 10 years ago where I really hurt my plantar plate. And for some reason it flared up after Pamplona, and around a similar time I was having like shin, felt like nervy kind of pain. So I really wasn't paying any attention to my shin. I was like, my foot's kind of the problem. Then it was 2 weeks before Hamburg. Was getting through what I could. I did one run session, which was okay in race shoes. And then the rest of the runs, I was like, look, I don't want to aggravate it. I'm doing as little as possible.
So you're so worried about the foot.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously dealing with the shin, but to myself, I was just like taking the ostrich approach. That I'm like, I don't even want to say this really out loud. I don't want to give it any like attention. But obviously now looking back, I can go, yeah, like when we were running around in Hamburg, I was getting like really angry, having to like start and stop when we hit like traffic lights and everything, because it was like kind of painful to start and stop. So, and then on top of obviously the foot thing, so I was like getting through 3-mile runs, which isn't really great going into an Ironman. I've not had a good track record of being able to finish a race when I'm scared I can't run. So that kind of went sideways, kind of halfway onto the bike, and then didn't leave T2. Yeah, so then we were thinking, okay, sort out the foot, go see the doctor. Went to see the doctor about my foot that I got injected last year. Same doctor. He was like, yeah, I'll put an injection in. A few days later started running. We're like, great, okay. I was like running up. We're planning to do Lake Placid. I'm obviously still feeling this thing in my shin, but like, I don't think I've really told you. Or
I didn't know about the shin at all until...
I think I said it. I had nervy pains.
I've got nervy pain is very different from I'm feeling pain in my shin.
But I was obviously dealing with that too, but I was more concerned about my foot. And then what was it, like a week and a half later, and I like was building up maybe a bit too aggressively, like half on the lever, half running outside, because I wanted to be confident that I could go the distance in Placid. And then I was running on the track one day and I was like, I just can't run through this, and I stopped. And that's when I knew, okay, Placid's off the cards. And then, you know, we looked, Kalmar's only 3-4 weeks later. I was like, okay, I've got time, I can do that. I'm rushing this right now. We've got time. And then obviously I spoke to somebody to be like, and they're like, yeah, you should get an MRI. I got an MRI on the shin and it was a stress reaction, which I was in kind of like very much of a state of like disbelief to like grief, or like just oscillated between the two. Even while we were waiting for the MRI results to come back, I was still like, oh, this is going to be fine. Like whatever, we're going to figure it out. Maybe it's shin splints, whatever, and then I'll still be able to do Kalmar, and I feel good about it. And then sometimes I'll be like, no, what are you talking about? You know, this is bad. This is probably a stress reaction. When I'm like, you know, after I pissed it off trying to run on the track, then like it hurt walking around, and that's like never a good sign. So then when the results came back, the like sports doctor who helped me through my sacrum surgery, he is very conservative, but he was like, this is a grade 3 stress reaction, like you've got 6 weeks of no running, And at first I was kind of like, well, does that mean I can still race in, you know, however many weeks? And he's like, absolutely not. And like, then it was kind of like, well, worst case, like, you know, I'm saying, well, can I even race at the end of the year? And he's like, yes. But it took Kalmar out, it took Kona out. So that was kind of a bit of a blow. And I was like, okay, I just need to be able to deal with this for a little bit first before I kind of think about what's next.
So what do you think happened with the foot, the leg? What do you think was the cause?
Now I'm working with Lawrence Van Lingnen, who, you know, he's helped me over the year. He helped me initially for my plantar plate issue that I had, 10 years ago in 2017. So he kind of thinks there was some like nerve stuff going on, which actually like at least reinforces that, like, to begin with I thought it was kind of nervy. But yeah, I don't really know why the foot and that popped up kind of at the same time. I know when I first saw him for bodywork, he was like, oh my gosh, your body's in a really not good place, which I kind of didn't believe, but now I think that was probably true. So now I'm fully on his plan. And yeah, things have been at least, you know, feeling good body wise. I'm obviously not running, I'm waiting the 6 weeks that I'm supposed to, and now we're just kind of focusing on building, kind of biking up.
So I think we're three weeks off running.
Yeah.
And one of the big things we've been looking back on is, because we have all your Stride data for the year, like we've been talking with the guys at Stride, looking at the data. We've been trying to figure out like what could have caused it, when did stuff start going off, and it's hard to parse out maybe where it potentially started. And this whole year has been a bit funky from the beginning. It was like you got sick twice in February. We went to California for training. And that's kind of when we started to notice, like, there's definitely a discrepancy in your right leg and left leg in terms of some of the run metrics Stride shows, like impact loading rate, leg stiffness. And it would like, you've always got a little bit of a discrepancy. It's like, I think normally 2 to 4% difference between your right and left leg. But when we came back from California after you got sick, it was consistently like 6, 8, sometimes 10 or 12% difference between your right and left leg. And that's kind of right when we started building up back again to think, oh, let's get ready for Hamburg. And that 10% like really never went away for the whole build. There's obviously something going on with the body here during the start of this build that just is abnormal to what you've been doing last year and all your data from last year. So we're a little confused on like what that change could have been.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it's like there's a big difference between like pregnancy, you're coming back, maybe things have settled, you got sick. I don't know what that actually did to your body, but there's.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like now, like going back, like obviously like you have 20/20 hindsight, like, but now it's interesting that's like, well, when things started deviating, it should have been like, okay, we're not in a safe space to like progress. And like I've obviously used, well, strides like that years and years ago before I even realized what I was doing. Like a old coach had me using the dual-sided strides before they were even out as kind of like a bone loading device, like measuring the asymmetry while I was like returning from an injury. I was only allowed to progress when I was like within a certain like range of like an asymmetry. So like I never developed like any, you know, injuries coming back from that. And I really believe that that's what like kept me on a really easy, on the outside, like progression back. And like, yeah, we probably should have given more, like heeded the signs a little bit more.
Going forward, the biggest thing to learn is to monitor those imbalances a little bit closer. And I mean, that's the awesome thing about having Stride and the data, but go less off like how you're feeling and maybe take that into account with like exactly what you said. We're not going to progress to certain levels in the run if we're still seeing either, if
things are like deviating, I think it's like,
or
it's
if it's
cautionary.
or if it's just steady at like a 10% deviation, we need to do an intervention here to try to figure out what that is. And whether it's either like going back to the lever for a little bit more running, a few days off running, seeing Lawrence to see if he can pick up something. So there's a lot to think about like over the next 3 to 4 months as we kind of get over this.
That was the interesting thing, because obviously like I'd been like progressing lever and body weight outside running post Hamburg, getting my foot treated, had a cortisone shot, and then like it was steady at like 10%, right?
And things went back down to like kind of normal ranges for
then
a week.
I was feeling a bit more pain like before the track workup, but then the last couple runs were like blew out to like 15%.
Yeah,
and that's like
an obvious compensation going on.
Which even heading out to run on the track, I was like, yeah, this isn't like,
isn't feeling right.
Why is this? Yeah. Why is this happening? And then I'm like, okay.
As you get back into running, what does the rest of the season look like for you? What do you want to accomplish this year?
In a weird way, I think I kind of needed this. Like, it's definitely not what I wanted, but I sometimes think the universe is going to give you what you need, not what you want. I was kind of going into races a bit like, I don't know, like I wasn't really racing the way I wanted to race. It was kind of like, yeah, this is okay. This is reflective on what I'm doing in training, but I'm not like particularly excited about it. So now, like having the time to like, you know, working on my biking like a lot, you know, with Matt Bottrell, who's obviously, you know, been a big part of.
Maybe we went to the wind tunnel after.
I know. We went to the freaking wind tunnel.
That.
I know. And now I feel like I'm riding. Like, I got back from Hamburg and I feel like, oh my gosh, I feel really fast on this bike now, and like obviously made a few tweaks or whatever, and obviously you're more fresh because you're not running, and I think now also like you realize how much running takes out of you, but I also just think for some reason something's kind of turned around a little bit in the last few weeks. So now I'm actually excited about like, okay, where can we like push the biking in the next how many weeks to get ready for an Ironman, so I can actually put together a race that I really feel like I can actually do, because I've been so underperforming on the bike specifically for like a long time, and I've just not been as excited about it. And even in the last few weeks, I'm like, oh wow, I've not, you know, I feel like I'm doing better than I have in like quite some time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a good point of like, I think even last year after Placid and Kona, like you had solid performances. Your debut, you were 5th in Placid. You didn't replicate what you were doing in training in the race, but still like a good first race.
In Placid, yeah.
In Placid, and then to go out and get 6th in Kona, like better than we expected.
Yeah.
But you still didn't feel like you really replicated I wouldn't say what you did right before Kona, because training was
training wasn't going well.
Great, but like even earlier in the year, like I know I could ride better than this, and I know like my running isn't up to where I'm doing, like where I'm training at. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of a step back, like forced step back, to then be able to look forward and say, for me, it's like I think we get to redo kind of going back and rebuild going back into an Ironman, because it did feel a little bit last year like we were trying, not rushing it, but we were under time pressure to get one in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ideal prep, and we were doing T100. I
came back from pregnancy, broke my sacrum in January, basically.
Yeah, but we're fitting in T100s too.
I know.
And it's like we're looking back, it's like, well, that's not ideal prep for an Ironman. Like, if we're going to do it again, let's not do it again. We did it before Hamburg and like learned the lesson twice, but now we get like a full run. Like, let's just build up, race sometime in November and December in an Ironman, as long as everything progresses normally, and take like a real shot at displaying what we kind of see in training and putting together a good one that you could be proud of.
Yeah. Before
next year, and then all focus would be on Kona.
I must say, you took it all in your stride more than me.
I took what all in my stride?
Well, the MRI results. Like, Sean's more like this, and I'm more like this. Which is good to have a coach more like this.
Yeah, but I think one of the other learning points is, like, when things are bothering you, not to take the ostrich approach and put your head in the sand. Because something that, like the shin bothering you after Pamplona, could have been something that you nipped in the bud earlier. And
but that would have been 100% not racing Hamburg.
Yeah. But it may have been able to then come back to race Kalmar.
Yes.
So it's,
in hindsight, I wouldn't have even tried to race Hamburg. I should have flown home, seen a foot doctor, seen someone about my shin, gone, we need to sort this out, instead of being like.
But I think that's one of the things as an athlete that you tend to underplay.
To myself, though.
And to me, because you're doing it to yourself, I'm not hearing it on the other side.
Because I don't want to scare. Don't want to scare myself, so I won't say things out loud. You're like. But then I did about my foot, and that's why I thought, oh, I'm being better. I'm at least telling you about it beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's where like these small things can turn into big things if we don't take action when they pop up and take the relevant amount of rest needed. So even at 15 years as a pro, you're still learning new things every year.
Sure.
All right, well.
That was your lesson for today.
We will get back getting stuff out. It's been extremely difficult having a toddler running around.
We should include some of the clip we tried to film the other day, and she was being crazy.
So
she's crazy in a good way, but she's crazy.
Yeah, she's at that point where she just wants to be involved in everything.
She wants to be heard.
It's great, but definitely hard to make videos.
Yeah.
While
we need another photographer or videographer.
That would be helpful. Yes.
So if there is anyone in the area that wants to help us out, send us a message.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. We got back to Boulder, went to see the doctor, got a cortisone injection.
Excuse me. You got something to say?
What would you like to say? Oh, no, nothing? Yeah. Where's the pickle man, Poppy? Go get the pickle man. Pickle man.